for what I wanted to achieve, other than just getting back into it, establishing a routine, and improving little by little, letting go of that useless fear of imperfection. After all, we all get better through mistakes and practice, not by daydreaming. When I started painting, I didn't know what was going to come out of it. I knew gouache lets you work in layers and that it's a very opaque medium. But honestly, I've only used it twice before, so I figured I'd run into some difficulties. My brushes were in bad shape. The tips were frayed, which made it hard to paint properly on more than one occasion, especially with the house. There's a certain style I want to achieve, but the problem is that I'm not even clear about it in my own head. It's more of a blend of styles from different artists I admire. The use of color from one painter, the loose brushstrokes from an illustrator, the stories and the feeling from another. But finding my own voice in the middle of all that is the real challenge. I have to admit, I wasn't as careful with the colors as I would have liked. I just mixed what I saw without really putting any effort into applying the little color theory I know. Color plays a fundamental role in the style I'm after, and I think I'd rather see a much simpler sketch with well-established tones than a painting that's overly detailed but chaotic. Even though I missed having a more appealing color palette, I was pleasantly surprised that, without even realizing it, I applied a basic principle of color theory for landscapes. Cooler colors stayed in the background, while warmer tones popped in the foreground. That sense of cohesion, yet simple, added a nice sense of depth. I realize that I tend to get lost in the little brushstrokes, which I actually find oddly satisfying. It's like a game between what I see and what I can put on paper. However, I need to remind myself that adding more detail doesn't always improve the piece. Sometimes, leaving things for the viewer to imagine can be more interesting and powerful. I want to break my habit of focusing too much on the details and instead learn to think more broadly. Grouping the lights, shadows, and midtones to create good contrast is something I want to master. When I see a piece with a strong contrast and a well-chosen color palette, I get hooked. My goal is to feel the same way about my own work and to be able to tell stories or set moods through color and composition. The roof and the house in particular didn't convince me. Unlike the rest of the piece, where the vegetation and dynamic organic forms dominate, the house is just a static geometric structure. I couldn't quite give it the life it needed to blend in with the rest of the elements. Looking back, I realized I could have tackled the house more efficiently by working in layers. Starting with the window glass and then layering the window frames with short, confident brushstrokes. But at the time, I got caught up in the individual elements and I didn't manage to connect the house with the surroundings. By the time I got to the roof, I was already feeling tired and decided not to spend too much more time on it. It's definitely something I want to work on, and it'll be interesting to compare it with future sketches to see how I improve. I have to say, I was also worried about the camera since it was the first time I filmed myself painting. The angles, the lighting, the annoying but much needed hum of the fan. Honestly, I felt pretty self-conscious. I didn't even know how I was going to edit it. It's been 3 weeks of trial and error with the editing software. If everything goes well, my husband and I will be buying a country house in a couple of months. I guess I chose to paint this scene because it reflects what I hope to find in our future home. That peace and simplicity we've been looking for, though the chickens might have to wait a little bit longer. We've been living in the countryside for the past 4 years, and it took us 2.5 years to find the right house. Funny enough, both painting and house hunting have something in common. Finding the balance between what you imagine and what's actually possible takes time. Despite the mountain of fears and insecurities I had, here it is, a first sketch, done and filmed. I didn't set any expectations for it, and sure, there are parts that didn't work, like the roof. But I'm really proud of having finished it. That being said, I do need to set clearer goals when working on these sketches, so I know what to focus on and what I need to improve. It's not that useful to just start a gouache painting and hope for the best. This time, it worked because I just needed to begin, but for the next ones, I'll pay more attention to specific areas I want to improve. This little sketch has done its job perfectly. It's pushed me forward in my creative process, and for that, I feel happy and ready to take on the next one.